Okay, we are live here at Dream Productions TV. I'm Andrea Metcalf. This is the Chicago Bloggers Union. I have with me Denise and Anna. And tonight, we didn't have a lot of people who are venturing out. I know it's a little late. It is Chicago. But we wanted to get an event kicked off the ground for Chicago Bloggers Union because we're back. And the Blogger Union is all across the country. It's in like 8 cities, and we always have some type of educational event to help you grow your following, to help you build your business, and you know what? To make millions of dollars in the social media universe here. And if you're not making millions of dollars, maybe you'll make millions of friends and just have a lot of fun. My name is Andrea Metcalf. Good to have you guys here. A little about what we're going to go over today. We're going to go over the idea of social media and how to create a better blog, how to create better following, how to do content that sticks, right? We want to have sticky content so that it's evergreen for some of it, so that if somebody sees it in 3 years, it's still valuable. So I'm going to talk to you about a few things, and then we're going to meet our guests, and we're going to learn how to create content that sticks. So a little about my background. I've been blogging since 2007. I've written for very popular blogs like Oprah.com, The Examiner, Huffington Post, and I've had many magazine sightings and blog content as well, even with CNN. My background really is health and fitness as an expertise. Then I launched a career into TV and media and had over a dozen appearances on the Today Show, Steve Harvey, and I created 3 TV shows. So creating content really helped me build my blog, build my following, and of course, starting as an early adopter on Facebook, it ended up making me an influencer. So not only did I have the television outlets, the magazine outlets, the blogging outlets, I also had the social media. And you want to try and get that full approach when you're building your brand. But when you're just starting out, I know launching a social media account can be scary, frustrating, expensive, time-consuming, don't know what you're doing. Every day is like, I'm not sure what I should be posting. Did I post something good? Look, they didn't like it. I've got 3 followers. And so I've built things from the ground up. Most recently, we started a new fitness studio called Heat 3.0 in the city. We started with this many followers, and then we had 4 because I followed from my personal page, I followed from my business page, I had my kids follow it, and so it was a way to try and get traction. And in as little as 6 weeks, we're over 150 followers. So it can work if you follow some of the right steps. But before we get into that, I want you to introduce you to my 2 guests who are new on the blogging scene, and they came because they wanted to be a part of this community that we're going to start building together, guys. We're going to rebuild the Chicago Blogger Union community, and all of you are going to help do that. So my first guest today is Denise.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Denise. So Denise, you had no idea you were coming down to a blogger event. You wanted to meet a few people. You're going to meet lots of people now. They're just going to know you more than you know them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and what your blog is going to be about or what it started to be about.
Okay. Well, I'm Denise, and I came here just because I was interested in networking, really. That was the big thing. And also hearing what other bloggers in Chicago are doing. So I'm kind of here to do that, and my blog is really focusing on travel. I love traveling, especially international traveling, so that's kind of my niche, and I'm here to kind of just really learn, so I'm pretty excited.
I love that. Tell me, you said you love to travel. We were talking about travel, and certainly social media is a great way to kind of get that exchange. Where are some of the places that you've been to, and where would you like to go?
I lived in Europe for a little bit, about 3 years ago, to do some studies and stuff, and I got to travel just all over the place because it's so easy to travel while you're living in Europe.
Come on, name drop some countries here. Name drop some countries.
Okay, so I lived in Luxembourg. It's a really small country right near France and Germany, but I got to travel to Paris, London, Croatia, Spain. So all those, popular places really. But I'm actually planning to go to Turkey in August. So hoping to get, hoping to get, just expand my my travel a little bit more. So yeah.
Okay, and then what is the name of your blog and what is your Instagram name right now?
So I was just talking to Anna. I'm kind of trying to revamp, which is why I'm here. I'm not exactly sure it's the current direction I want to go. So currently it's called My Pilgrimage. But I kind of think I want to change kind of the narrative around that.
Okay. And where does your blog lie? Is it a URL? Is it a WordPress site? What are you using to blog with?
Right now it's just Instagram. I tried a little bit of TikTok, but it's a very new environment for me. But right now it's mainly Instagram.
I know TikTok is one of those ones we did it for social media. I kept telling my business partner Sue, I'm like, I don't want to do TikTok. I want to do another one. I'm already doing LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. You want me to do and YouTube, and now you're saying we got to do TikTok too.
Yep. It's a lot.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it's a lot. I got overwhelmed, so I kind of stopped after like a week or two. But yeah, mainly Instagram, I think, for now, just to focus on that and grow that, and then we'll see kind of where that goes.
So you were saying that you're doing this travel blog on Instagram.
Yep.
So is your written content a microblog on Instagram, or is it just pictorial?
It's right now pictorial, but I know that we're kind of moving towards video or short videos. So I want to kind of get more into that. But right now, the main description is really like bloggers, mini script blog style.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you planning on moving into a website?
Oh God, that's like another thing.
Okay.
I would love to. I think right now I'm just kind of focusing on audience and growing that. And then once that grows, maybe I can see if there's value in having a website so that I can drive traffic there.
Okay. And just a thumbs up or down, are you above or below 2,000?
For following? Oh God, it's below. It's definitely below.
We don't have to have any numbers. We just go higher or lower. If it's lower than 2,000, that's okay.
Yeah, it's
that means
lower.
you're in the starting gates.
Definitely.
Are you using My Pilgrimage? Is that actually the name of the Instagram following?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And are you doing anything also sharing to Facebook or to any other social media outlets, or just the one?
Just one. It was when I started, it was really casual. It was just to document my travels when I was living in Europe, so I wasn't really taking it seriously. But just looking back at it and then trying to give people inspiration and ideas when they travel, I kind of started taking it a bit more seriously. So I definitely want to grow that, but I need more structure, I think, and I need to maybe be more strategic about it.
Definitely. Definitely. To have growth, to have change, you need to have a plan. And the first plan is kind of feeling things out and knowing where you're starting at, right?
Yeah.
If you're going in a direction on a map, you have to know the starting point, and then you have to know what city or what place you want to go to, literally, for your travels.
Exactly, yeah.
And then how that all comes together. So I think you're on a good track, no pun intended, and we'll keep growing that.
Yeah.
So my next guest that I want to talk to is going to be Anna. And Anna, don't start yet. When you are starting to build a brand, the key idea here always is to get growth and get a direction. So there has to be, we call it a production schedule with anything that you're doing. So Anna, let's hear where you're at, what you're doing. Tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, I would say I'm in a very similar situation, just starting off. And really, just through Instagram, I haven't created a website yet, and that's something that I've always thought about, wanted to do. Do I take the plunge, or having those conflicting thoughts of, are there too many bloggers? Is everyone doing the same thing? I want to stand out. So just kind of growing it on Instagram right now.
Okay, and
Yeah.
any Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, any other spaces?
I mean, I have my personal Facebook, so not a Facebook for like a page or anything. But yes, I tried creating on TikTok, something I want to try to take more serious as well.
Okay, and what is your blog about, or your microblog on Instagram?
Yeah, my biggest interest is fashion. Kind of dabble a bit in beauty, but definitely fashion. My background is in fashion. Went to school for retail merchandising, so I've always had that interest with the fashion industry.
Are you working in the fashion industry currently?
I currently am, yeah,
All right,
full time.
tell us a little bit about that. That's interesting too.
Yeah, I work in sales for an evening wear designer. So yeah, just and before that, I mean, I went to school for retail merchandising. Throughout college, I held internships. Kind of where I got my interest in writing. College Fashionista, which I feel like a lot of girls might know about. They're still going strong with. They focused on fashion, but I see now they do everything from like brand partnerships. So that really gave me like a great experience on how to start writing about fashion and lifestyle. And then yeah, also in college, working like as a dresser for fashion shows. And then right out of college, I worked for a local magazine company in sales.
So yeah, you definitely have the fashion in your heart and in your passion, and I think that's something that's really important when we talk about any type of blog, whether that's on Instagram, a social media blog, or written content. You have to be passionate about it. I think you have to be knowledgeable about it. You definitely have some experience in the travel space, being in Europe and heading around different places. Your background's in fashion. I've been teaching fitness since everybody started exercising many years ago. And I think passion is one of the best things that can drive content. And that's what we're really talking about. We're talking about creating content. So the first thing that we wanted to talk about today, now that we have your backgrounds and everybody knows who everyone is, and we hope that you'll share in the comments some of your backgrounds, who you're blogging about, what your Instagram names are, so that we can follow you and support you, because that's really the name of the game, is supporting each other with the Bloggers Union. How do we make content that sticks? How is content more interesting? And so instead of telling me how content sticks, tell me, we're going to go with Anna first. Anna, tell me a blogger or content that you love seeing and why you love it.
Yeah, one of my favorite bloggers that I think of right away, they go by, at first it was Mimosas in Manhattan. Courtney and Kelly, they're two cousins. They've been doing it for at least like 5-6 years. And I really think throughout the years they've mastered it. They do it full time now. And I think what sticks with it is that they're a little different. You know, they don't always represent like the same brands as everyone. They kind of reach out and they go with what they know, what's comfortable for them, what fits with them, and that's what makes them unique. Yeah,
that's cool. I love that. I have a gal I follow, and it's nothing to do with fitness. Her name's Celeste Barber, and she's a comedian.
Yes.
And so there'll be an Instagram pose of a sexy model in her underwear and turning around, and she'll be painting something, and then Celeste will put on her underwear and do kind of the same thing. I mean, it's kind of satirical. It's always funny. And I mean, when I first started following her on Instagram, I think it was maybe she had 25,000 followers, and now it's in the millions. And so it caught on, and I think it made all of us kind of, for me at least, it made me feel like, yeah, I get it. There are these really, seductive, beautiful, wonderful people, but there's real life, and that's me.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about her content. Denise, tell us somebody that you love to follow and why you love it.
So for me, it's not really necessarily a specific person. I find, I guess, maybe a lot of different interests, and most of the theme for me is really people that have videos that have more of an immersive feeling when they're traveling, just to feel like you're there. So it's not really actually like the influencer blogger style when they're kind of just showing you what they're doing, but it's more having like a point of view, like as if you're there. Those kinds of contents that really just kind of makes me watch over and over. It makes me feel like I'm there, especially just for traveling.
Yeah.
Because you want to feel like you're there also.
Yeah, when I think of the evolution of the blogger space, really through social media, it used to be like, look at me.
Yeah.
Oh, look at me. And I'm here. And this is what I'm doing. And this is what I'm doing. But I think we've taken that to the next level.
Yep.
It's no longer about, oh my God, look at, she's doing that. She's doing this. It really has content that sticks,
Yeah.
has an emotional pull. It's beautifully captured.
Yeah.
And there's, like you said, there's an edge to it. There's something that's a little different and unique about it. And so I challenge everybody to kind of think about that when you are posting something. You know, it's not just about what's the last thing I did or here's a picture right here. Be really intuitive as to what other people would love or what you love about making content more meaningful, right? It's about meaningful stuff, I think.
Exactly.
You said a key word, Denise, that also is about content sticking. And there's layers to it. And you said video. And we're doing video right now tonight. So we all know about we're being on video and putting yourself out there. But you don't always have to put yourself out there. You can put in other content that feels things. But the thing about video is video can be cut and multi-purposed in many different ways. And the other thing I love about video is there's keywords that I can use the same piece of content, maybe show a little different angle of it. Like if I shoot it in wide shot and I really practice, instead of shooting everything in this landscape, what's it called? No, in this vertical, shoot more in landscape, I can change and cut that and crop it over to one side. Or I can use the middle, or I can use the end for those stories. And you can do that through very simple programs, free apps. You can use it in Canva is one of my favorite. Do you guys all use Canva?
I've heard of it, but I haven't used it
I've
much.
used it before, yeah.
Yeah, Canva, Canva.com. This is where the Blogger Union logo, everything was created. It's free for the most part. You can do a pro subscription, and I'm not sponsored by Canva, but I have been using it for 8 years now since it came out. And it made me feel like I could be a graphic designer without having to pay for Adobe Premiere or any of the other high-priced programming. And it made me also feel like I can do my own marketing now. I can do my own Instagram. I don't need somebody to tag my photos. So I want to dive a little bit into that video space. Many of us are looking to grow a following. And once you start creating still shots that are beautiful, the easiest thing is to put them into a reel. It is now brainchild easy to make reels, and they get more impressions. There's more ways to use and share them. And so we know that video is 10 times more likely to be watched than a still shot. That I think the key way to get content to stick is to take those beautiful still shots and put them into the reels. Now, if you go through Instagram, you're going to find a million ways to do reels. One of the things I love about doing reels is every photo's got to be at least 2 seconds unless I'm moving to the beat of a music. And I think the first thing you want to do is pick out the music. Because if you've got great music, then you can choreograph the photos. Now, if you don't have time to do that, because a lot of times I don't, just think at least 2 seconds to 3 seconds for a photo. That would be one tip, and at least 9 to 11 within that content. As you go through and look for music, remember the reels that you like and save the audio for that or save the file. And then that's in your saved folder. Now, once I've posted that reel and I've added in my hashtags in the comments or I've added them in the actual written description, share it to your story and share it often to your story. Because remember, stories only last
10 seconds.
24 hours.
Oh,
24 hours, right? They only last one day, so I want to reshare it the next day or in 2 days. But when you reshare it, add always in some type of link to give them direction. So for us as a fitness studio, we're putting a link in there for the first class free. So once we create our little reel, we share it to the story, and then we add that link. There's also a feature where there's a little circle up in those. If you go to the dots on the cross, there's the little smiley face and there's the 3 dots. If you click on that, there's a place to add your logo. So if you have a logo for your travel blog or for your fashion blog, that's a very simple way to add the logo in by cutting it out as a picture and stamping it in there. It works kind of like a GIF sticker, but it's your own brand. And you want to be able to create that memorable branding so they know who to come back to. So those are just some tips on taking the video or your still shots, making them into a video. Now here's the key. Once I have that video, I'm going to download it and start my YouTube channel. YouTube doesn't have to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. But YouTube is owned by what company?
Alphabet.
Who owns YouTube? They're the largest search engine in the world.
Google. Oh.
Google.
Okay.
And so when you create content on Google in their YouTube space, they raise you up. So your Instagram will go up because you have stuff on YouTube. So if you want to get more followers, you really can't just do one space of distribution. We need what's called multi-platform distribution or multi-channel distribution. In that space, there's all different ways to be found. You're doing TikTok and you're doing Instagram. That's two. You've got two multi-channel distribution. But now if you take that video and you upload it onto your YouTube channel, and maybe that's where your microblog is copy and pasted in the description so your keywords match across your platforms. Now you've created better SEO to be found, and you've created 3 distribution outlets with one piece of video. So
Wow.
we figured out content.
That makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think
easy?
about that.
It's
Yeah.
easy. I love when things are easy to do and they make a lot of sense. And that's one way of doing it. Sometimes we think like, oh, I got to post here, I got to post here, I got to post here.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how
It's
it
a lot.
starts to feel.
Yeah.
It does feel that way. And so there is social media scheduling tools within Facebook and Instagram. So I highly recommend using the publishing tools there. There's also scheduling tools like Social Bee, Sprout Social, what's another one? Hootsuite.
Okay.
I think some of the things we get caught up in is that the price of things goes up. But a lot of these are free, and Canva has a connection that's free to post your social media as well now. So think about how to make your life easier with using scheduling and how to use content in multiple ways.
I like that.
Cool. All right. So one of the things we also said we would talk about today are new ways to increase your following, which when you talk about following, Anna, I'm going to start with you first. What are some things that you've heard or you've tried to increase your following?
I think on the topic of video, that's the best way, or one of the most popular ways now, especially with Reels or like we just talked about, multi-platform. So posting it on TikTok or having that TikTok and sharing it on your Instagram, so that way it's going to lead you to,
Back and forth,
and
more
then,
ways.
Yeah, or yes, with video, with Reels, they don't have to necessarily be following you, and that's how, if you're creating content that sticks with someone and you have a similarity, then they're probably more apt to follow you. So, and I know people with like using hashtags for video and posts, but I think hashtags work best with video as well on Reels.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
using those, with things that relate to that video, that's what you want to use the hashtags for.
Yeah, I like to do. There used to be a thing like you could find the trends for what's trending on hashtags, and you can certainly still do that. I use my notes section on my iPhone, and I have predetermined lists for hashtags. So I kind of have like 3 groupings depending on what I'm posting on of where it leads to, and I might delete 1 or 2 of them on this one and add something in like best day or best day ever. Like putting in that of what's really particular to that piece of content. But I'm not sure if you realize there are tags or hashtags on YouTube as well. And so if you go into the advanced section of it, it will give you places to tag. Those are the same things you use as hashtags in YouTube as you do in your hashtags on Instagram and TikTok. So I love that you brought up hashtags. That's a really great way to
I know, I feel like it's a touchy subject sometimes. Like people are against it if they're trying to make like really organic content. But I've always used them, and I think it's a great way to, get your post seen or video.
Yeah. I like to use them sometimes in the comments too, because then it brings it up. And so in 2 or 3 days, I'll go back into my own comments and add a couple more hashtags
Yeah.
to try and bring my content back up to the surface.
Yep.
I've played around with both, putting it in the post or in the comments, or like what you said, going back and commenting. So.
Yeah. Awesome. So Denise, we're going to go to you next. What are some of the things that you've seen that help people increase following?
Well, I feel like I'm going to have to steal what she said, but only because I remember when I was, I guess, more active on my travel vlogging or blogging, in the story section, when I would add the hashtags, I would notice that there are people that are not necessarily following me, but they're following the hashtags, so then they would see my story based on that. So I think that is a really kind of like well, I'm not exactly sure if there's more powerful ways, but I think for me that was really a driving force for me, that people that would not necessarily follow me, that would follow the hashtag.
Yeah.
I think that's actually the biggest one. I can't really think of a bigger.
Well, let me tell you a few things that have worked for me. First off, when I am creating my following and who I want to create, I look at other people who are in that space that are doing well. And so I use them and I copy them. I actually copy what their hashtags are. I follow their followers and reach out to their followers. So when we were doing this fitness studio, we were looking at places that were nearby that were doing things similar to us, went to their followers, and then direct messaged them, stop in for a free class. We're new in the neighborhood. And so through that social media, we started to build awareness, and people started to come and see what was going on. So think about how you can use other people's followers to reach out and say, hey, I'm starting up. I would love you to check out my blog. And that goes across all networks. I'm seeing it even on LinkedIn, which always was kind of like more of a don't do these things on LinkedIn. But I am seeing people on LinkedIn reach out that are in similar spaces and say, hey, by the way, follow me on Instagram. And so when I think about how we can share organically and be true to ourselves, if they're a cool person and you like what they're doing, I think it's not wrong to reach out and say, hey, I like what you're doing. Check out what I'm doing, and go back and forth with that rapport like it would be if you were all in a blogger convention together. You know, so that's just another little thing that I like to do. I lost my train of thought. I had one other thing to share with you, besides following followers and reaching out organically to people who have that same mentorship. Let me look at my notes here. Unless you guys can think of something else on creating followers. We talked about, events. Events are a good way, even if they're just a live Facebook event, a live story event. We know that when somebody's live on Instagram, it pops up in our feed and they tell us, hey, so-and-so's live. So even if it's for 2 or 3 minutes, it doesn't have to be a big, long event. What's really interesting is recently we started posting events on LinkedIn. And on LinkedIn, they allow you to invite up to 1,000 people a week to your events. So if you have a 6-week lead time, you're able to invite, depending on what your network's like on LinkedIn, very specific people who follow you to your event. And so you'll start seeing events being reached out to. You can also do that for your pages. So even though you're a person on LinkedIn as a professional, you should create a business page for your blog. Even if it's not a corporation, even if it's not making money yet, even if it's only one channel of distribution, because that will help you build your distribution. Back in about 2008, SEO was a lot simpler. But every blog that I wrote, I would say, Andrea Metcalf, celebrity fitness expert, America's trusted fitness expert. America's fitness expert. Trusted America's fitness expert. So when you would then Google America's fitness expert, my name would come up. I would be on page 1 of Google all the time. And I learned that from somebody else, that putting tags in your blogs, even if it's a micro blog, the pilgrimage blogger, celebrity fitness expert, that starts to stick with who you are and come up in your search engine results and helps you build your brand.
Okay.
So even if you're doing microblogging, whether it's in your profile description or in your microblog, think about what tags that you want to create for yourself so that you can become the brand you want to be. So just some things that have worked for me over the years.
Good to know.
So we only have about 10 minutes left here to finish up. I did want to talk about, if you don't have a website, certainly WordPress is free. There are some very low-cost versions. I've been a Wix website builder probably for over 10 years now since they came out. Love Wix.com. Very inexpensive. Again, I'm not sponsored by them. I just love how simple they made it for me, because there were times when I spent tens of thousands of dollars on websites in my career, and for a couple $100 you can do that now. Shortening links with Bitly. So if you have a really long website, use a Bitly in your profile for on Instagram. There's also things called Linktree and Shorebee that give you the ability to have your TikTok, your Instagram, your phone number, your email, your contact page, anything you want about you as the link to open up for your Instagram, which is very helpful. And let's see. Keep on your Q&A. Q&A. The best way to engage people is to ask a question. So using those questions in your content. Have you guys ever tried that?
I tried it on the stories where you can do the ask a question and then you get feedback from people. Yeah, I've tried that.
And did you get did anybody?
A few. That's something.
No, seriously, I feel like, or when you do a poll or asking questions and about anything really. Redesigning my space. What do you think should go here? And I've done that before, because our apartment, we've been there a year now, so moving things around or finding and having people's opinions, and I feel like I got a lot more engagement that way. When you include people, and people like to feel included.
Exactly.
And tagging them. I don't know if we mentioned that you should tag other people in your posts. I always find that's interesting because I know who you are, but I try and find you and there's 7 people with your same name then. And then I'm trying to look at that little paper. I put my glasses on. I'm trying to take a snapshot of it and then stretch it out on my phone to try and figure out who you are. And that doesn't always work, but the intention's there. Right? So, awesome. Well, we are so excited that we are back with the Chicago Blogger Union. I know I'm looking forward to a lot of success. If you have ideas for events, if you guys have ideas for events, certainly reach out directly to me, Andrea Metcalf, on any of the social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, wherever you can reach out to the Chicago Blogger Union on our Facebook page. Reach out through Instagram. We're going to do definitely a fitness event. We're going to do a yoga night at Heat because it's free and because we can go there. And tonight, Sue, we're not done yet. We have 2 sponsors tonight that provide a product, the Bold Bars. We want to get those. So Stacy's Pita Chips, you guys have heard of those, right?
Oh, yes.
Well, Stacy of Stacy's Pita Chips sold the company. And so she was, and I think she did well, and she took care of all her people. And so she started, you can jump in, it's okay. She started a new company, and her new company is called Be Bold Bars. And these are all natural energy bars. So let me read the ingredients to you because we're going to give you guys a couple of bars before you leave tonight. And if you would have come down to the studio, you would have gotten your snack bars. Plant-based protein, gluten-free. They are delicious. This is cashew sea salt. These reminds me of paydays. Now, these are an energy snack, so they're under 300 calories. They are not a meal replacement. They do have some fiber, 3 grams of fiber, 7 grams of protein. This is the cashew and sea salt. So I'm going to give you guys each one of those. There's
thank
one.
you.
You can eat it now or you can take it home.
Thank you.
I know you guys have a long ride home. So Be Bold Bars. Check them out. They are in stores and they are online. And the other flavor we have tonight, is chocolate chip almond butter. And I was going to read the ingredients because they are simple, they're made better, and they are really delicious. Again, gluten-free, contains tree nuts. No, rolled oats, wildflower honey, almond butter, walnuts, Brazil nuts, chocolate chips made from cane sugar, unsweetened chocolate and cocoa butter, maple syrup, pressed canola oil, cane sugar, chia seeds, sea salt, and cinnamon. Everything that you can pronounce. It reminds me of the commercial when they had that ice cream. They were like, milk, sugar, that's what's in it. I'm like, I love it. I love ice cream.
Simple.
So let's give you guys
Yes.
each one of those.
Okay, thank you.
Then we have social enjoyment. You want to grab those? So we're going to have a lot more sponsors at our events as we get this off the ground. Please share on Instagram, tag us, and I try and share to the story a couple times a week on the Chicago Blogger Union. So if you hashtag Chicago Blogger Union or you tag us, I try and find you and share on our story so you can get a little more scenage.
Yeah.
We're building that following like everybody else.
Perfect.
This is Social Enjoyment. This is also our sponsor. Do we have that? Can we get a close-up? Right there. So Social Enjoyments is a Chicago founder. Well, she's actually from what is it, Michigan? But she really launched this in Chicago. And it was the first alcohol drink that was all natural, all organic, gluten-free, no preservatives, and it's called Social Enjoyments. And her name is Leah Kaplunas, and she was 26, so young, like you guys, and she ended up with thyroid cancer. But she couldn't drink alcohol with her friends because there were so many additives and preservatives, and so she developed this first beverage. So she was really the first one in the sparkling content. She's been around for almost 10 years now. And then she came out with sparkling waters. So Social Enjoyment, this is basil and strawberry, again, gluten-free, all natural, no preservatives. They gave us some, so we're giving you guys some of that to take home tonight too. Like I said, this is the Chicago Blogger Union, and I'm Andrea Metcalf. This is Denise with My Pilgrimage, right?
Pilgrimage, yes.
And Anna, I don't know the name of your...
I just go by my name. It's Anna Rose. So.
Anna Rose. Yeah. There's got to be a million Anna Roses.
I know.
Is it at Anna_Rose or is it Anna Rose? You got it.
At Anna with 3 A's at the end _Rose.
So ANNAA Rose
_Rose.
_Rose. Yeah. See, we had to tell them that because they will never find it otherwise. I'm at Andrea Metcalf, and of course we're at the Chicago Blogger Union. So I think we're signing out, everybody. We're going to wave to camera. Thank you, Dream Production Studio, for hosting us. Hopefully we'll be back in the fall. Let's cut on out. Facebook Live. See you guys next week. Or no, next quarter, whenever.
Yeah.
All right.